The time is now to punch a ticket to the Sweet 16. The 3-seed LSU Tigers getting set to battle the 6-seed Florida State Seminoles. Great energy and a jam-packed student section on hand tonight. Kim Mulkey purchased all 2,000 tickets, and we are electric, ready to go. Back on Saturday night, Florida State 9 of 20 from deep to set the tone in a convincing fourth-quarter win over George Mason. And for LSU, wouldn't you know it, the Tigers 10 of 18 from distance as they ran away from the Aztecs, the Mountain West Conference champions of San Diego State. And the bracket looks like this. The winner of this game this evening here in Baton Rouge will battle a familiar foe for both sides, NC State, the 2-seed in Spokane. That game taking place on Friday night. Well, earlier this afternoon, Brooke Wyckoff, the head coach of the Seminoles, talking with her team pregame.
All of these things here on the board and everything that we need to do to win this game is within that circle of our control, right? Okay, there's going to be a lot outside of that circle. What things that didn't go our way, crowd, all of that. We're relentless in just blocking that all out together. Okay? Yeah. Let's do it today. Let's control.
103, 1, 2, 3.
One. Get it. Well, the relentless approach for the Seminoles is going to be needed on the road in this hostile environment. For the coach, Jimmy Dykes, I'm Roy Philpott. We've got points. We've got pace. We've got star power on both sides.
Yeah, no doubt. The SEC versus the ACC, a couple of programs that have their eyes locked in a Final Four run. They're capable of getting there because of their scoring ability. Both of them come in, Roy, averaging between 85 and 86 points a game. They're led by superstars. Both coaches are very competitive. They were great players. They're great coaches. This could be one of the better second-round matchups in this tournament.
We talk about star power. It begins with Tania Latson, the leading scorer in America for Florida State, 25 per game, Jimmy.
She is a bucket getter. Talking about zero and white, leads the country in scoring. And she can get it multiple ways. She's got the mid-range pull-up. She can get the rim and get fouled. And the three-point shot as well. We know about Flau'jae Johnson, a very talented young lady, both on the floor and off the floor. One of the better defensive players in the country. And coming into this tournament, she was injured, but she made the announcement Saturday, I am back. And she was back with a flair. And Tania Latson with 28 points. She's capable, Roy, of getting those kind of numbers anytime she steps on the floor. And Flau'jae Johnson with 22 against San Diego State. This is a big-time matchup in Baton Rouge.
Time to buckle up. The Seminoles and the Tigers, their first meeting since 2019 underway in Baton Rouge. Here comes FSU. Latson on cue, the layup. Take a look at our Capital One starting lineups. Up first for the Tigers, a healthy Anissa Morrow. She leads America in rebounding, a healthy Flau'jae Johnson, and a team that is in the top 6 in scoring at over 84 points per game this year.
We talked about it Saturday. Florida State has changed their defense this year. They were knocked out against Alabama last year in the first round, but the lack of defense. Much more pressure this year. They try to keep you on the side. Not easy to get good looks.
Flau'jae Johnson, the mid-range, too strong. Anissa Morrow, the step back, no, and is tracked down by Latson.
We know Morrow, the best rebounder in college basketball with a huge will.
Gordon, the point guard, off the mark. To take a look at FSU starting 5. And KK Timpson, an elite rebounder, averaging a double-double this season again in Tallahassee. Sydney Bowles is a perfect 5 for 5 from downtown in that convincing win against George Mason on Saturday night.
A couple of early keys from Florida State. They only turn it over 11 times a game. They have to stay at that number, if not fewer, on LSU's home floor. You do not want LSU to get out and get fast break points.
Hall of Famer Kim Mulkey, year 4 national championship with the Tigers 2 seasons ago. Great conversation with her earlier today at Shoot Around. Her team is locked in and ready to roll. It was a great conversation. We had a little dancing at Shoot Around, which we'll tell you about coming up here in a few minutes. Tigers trying to scratch the scoreboard, and Anissa Morrow will do exactly that.
A tough cover when she gets on an island. You try to handle her one-on-one. Almost impossible to keep her from getting to the rim.
Outside to Williams. That's a 3 off the back iron. Poa tapped out. It'll stay with the Seminoles. Brooke Wyckoff also her 4th full season, 3rd consecutive in Tallahassee, and coming off her first win as the head coach for the Seminoles in the NCAA tournament. That was the first win for FSU in postseason play since 2019.
Yeah, talking to her team today, do not concede the glass. We know how dominant LSU is on the glass. Let's get in there and get involved in the fight. All 5 in maroon have to be on that glass this evening.
Timpson was bottled up by Smith. Bowles shoots it out of bounds. Her first miss in Baton Rouge.
And that student section right there, almost 2,000 student tickets were bought by Kim Mulkey. She appreciates what they did in the regular season. She said, come to the party called the NCAA tournament. I got a ticket for you.
Poked out of bounds. That was Timpson. It'll stay with LSU, and Flau'jae Johnson calls out the set.
LSU comes in making 5 3-point shots per game. Florida State almost 10. That's a big difference in this game.
Maria Gordon just picked up her first. Latson with one already as well, and Brooke Wyckoff asking for an explanation. This veteran officiating crew with Kyle Bacon, Katie Lukanich, and Brandon Interline. First touch for Michaela Williams, the Texas transfer, over 17 per game. Flau'jae off the hezzy. Short on the layup, and the rebound by Williams.
Boy, in LSU, they smother you when you get that defensive board. You cannot be careless with it or soft with it if you're Florida State in this game.
Latson, too strong. And some nervous energy to start for both sides. 2 minutes in, tied at 2. And a bump and a foul on Michaela Williams. That's her first. Florida State, the highest scoring team in the Power 4 this season, both ranking inside the top 6. LSU 6th in the country at 85 per contest.
Both teams very comfortable turning it into a track meet. And boy, those baseline out of bounds under this time of the year, you cannot give them up. Every possession is magnified, and just a breakdown that time by LSU underneath.
Latson with 4, and Jimmy, that's what both sides were working on first this morning at shoot-around. Those out-of-bounds plays inside to Smith.
Samaya Smith is 6'2" and long, not in double figures often, but good sign early for LSU to get her involved on the offensive end.
Latson with a 3-pointer. Tania Latson from downtown.
You do not dare Tania Latson to squeeze one off. That kid, again, the leading scorer in the country. You take away that airspace, make her see multiple jerseys the entire night.
Morrow defended successfully by Timpson and out of bounds. It'll stay on this end. Tania Latson with all 7 FSU points.
Boy, both teams want to score early in that shot clock. They don't take a lot of time working that ball around. And there you see the inside presence of Smith. And at the other end right here, you cannot have those feet inside that 3-point line and allow her to casually dribble, talking about Latson, and dance into a 3-point shot.
Talked with her this morning, Tania Latson. I said, how would you assess your performance, the first NCAA tournament win on Saturday? She said, I'd give myself an A-. I need to be more vocal. Need to make sure my leadership is where it needs to be to win a game like tonight. Great dish from Flau'jae inside to Morrow.
Yeah, she is such a workhorse on the inside. Tremendous leg strength and great hands. Doesn't fumble balls at all in traffic.
Here goes Latson, and that is where she specializes. Getting to the free throw line. Another foul.
Anissa Morrow is a Chicago tough kid. And anything in traffic, her and Flau'jae Johnson are so good, but such strong hands, man. It's very difficult to get a rip and run against 24 in white. Just works her way and bullies her way to the rim through traffic.
Anissa Morrow leads America in rebounding. Latson, the leading scorer in the country. Good free throw shooter at 82%, but missed the first of 2.
And she got there 14 times on Saturday against George Mason. This is a young lady that's going to get off 20, 21 shots a game. Such a tough cover is Tania Latson.
Latson with 8. Stole it. She averages more than 2 steals per game. The mid-range. She'll get it back. Tania Latson dominating early, and it's 10-6.
If LSU has a concern in this tournament, it's the point guard play. And Kim Mulkey has said, I've got a 2-quarterback system between my 2 point guards. It's just whoever's playing the best, but they cannot turn the ball over, just manage it in this game.
Morrow to Smith, brilliant dime. It's 10-8. Jimmy, here comes the pace you and I were talking about. Turnage, bounce pass is picked off. Here comes Flage.
He is so good with either hand around that rim in transition, the open floor of the half court. Just what I thought. Kim Mulkey with not much patience at all with a point guard turnover. Cheyenne Day Wilson set to check in.
Bulls for 3. Timpson on the offensive glass and stolen by Smith. Flage, her eyes on the basket and fouled in the process.
Well, LSU has their own active hands and active athletes. Awfully long, awfully explosive on both ends of the floor. Not just their offense. They can explode defensively with multiple 6-footers getting out in passing lanes. And there's Tania Latson, the nation's leading scorer. If you're the nation's leading scorer, you're also most likely a good gamble defender that can get points in the open floor just like Latson did.
10 points, 2 boards. Latson gets a breather, nearly halfway home, and an entertaining start in our first quarter of the second round in Baton Rouge, and the kiss for Morrow. She's got 6. Tigers back in front.
That's about her range, that 15, 16-foot pull-up jump shot.
Gordon lost the handle, out of bounds. It'll stay with FSU. I mentioned the pace. Points per game. Both of these teams operating at a hectic tempo to start.
Yeah, I love the energy that both teams are playing with early. Elite speed from the SEC and the ACC on the floor right now.
Cheyenne Day Wilson on the floor for the first time, coming off an 11-point outburst against San Diego State.
And again, just manage the game. If you're the LSU point guard, you're surrounded by All-Americans.
Kim Mulkey basically reiterated that to us earlier this morning. Williams from downtown. .90 run for LSU. Gordon. Here's Smith. And the outlet. Here come the Tigers.
Well, you have to walk that fine line if you're Florida State in this building. You want to stay aggressive and play fast, but not to the expense of opening up this game in front of the home crowd.
Morrow with the mid-range.
And I think you take a timeout. Yeah, this game is getting away in terms of pace and score early for Brooke Wyckoff.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And the second round is presented by Intuit TurboTax. Now this is taxes. 11-0 run for LSU and the Hall of Fame head coach Kim Mulkey. Well, you're used to seeing her talk to her team, and she's had so much success. Earlier today, I'm not sure that you're used to this. The musical artist Cupid in the house dancing with the LSU team, and guess what? Jimmy Dykes, you told her to do it. She did it.
Yeah, I say, Coach, get out there and join. This is called the Flex Line Dance by the artist Cupid. And look at Coach. I mean, the very first try, quick reaction. You expect that from such a great player that she was, the good footwork. Kim Mulkey could not be more engaging, more joyful to be around, more stories told than she's been with us the last 3 days. And not a lot of people get to see that side of her. I have loved, and you as well. We have absolutely loved our time with Kim Mulkey here in Baton Rouge.
It's been fantastic. Off the steal, Latson back on the court. She has all 10 Florida State points, and now her second steal. Make that 12 in a row for Tania Latson to start.
She got to get some help, though, right? 12 for Latson, none for no one else from Florida State. Good enough to keep you in the game, but got to have some help to win the game.
Day Wilson to Morrow. She's been active inside to Smith, and the bigs, the high-low action has been working well.
Anissa Morrow grew up a point guard. That shows you right there her confidence and reading ability of the defense inside. Delivers a strike.
Latson was fouled in the process of that drive.
Nia Latson's going to get hers, but she's already halfway to her average with 12. The average is 25 on the year. And it's been triggered by her defense. A couple of runouts, really good instincts like high-scoring guards do. They know how to read and get some off their own. And there's that interior passing from Morrow on the inside to Smith. And LSU rolling early in Baton Rouge.
Huskies a 2 seed, but they poured in 103 points already in this NCAA tournament. Think about Paige Beckers and a healthy AZ Fudd. All the difference in the world for head coach Gino Auriemma.
Well, they're one of the threats to win the entire thing. And UConn is going for their 31st straight Sweet 16. Think about this, Paige Beckers, 45-1 for her career playing in Gamble Pavilion. It's a big advantage to those top 16 seeds to get to play on the home floor. LSU trying to take advantage of it right now as well.
Yeah, the energy here in the Pete Maravich Assembly Center has been off the charts for this second round matchup. The winner goes to the Sweet 16 to face NC State. And by the way, Florida State obviously played NC State as an ACC foe earlier this year. LSU did as well back in November. Florida State lost to the Pac. Head coach Wes Moore. LSU defeated NC State on November 27th.
Now they put it on them pretty good, 82-65. LSU won at the Baja Mar Classic back in November. You know, LSU are banged up a little bit down the stretch, lost 3 of 4, but man, so far this weekend from what we've seen carrying over into Monday, they are hot, they are healthy, they are hungry at the right time in March.
Here's Latson again. Last foul was a non-shooting foul. Bonner for 3. And the rebound to Day Wilson.
Where you got to make them. Latson's going to get a lot of attention on her when she drives that ball to the paint. You've got to make your open threes if you're Florida State to hang in this game.
Backdoor cut, Michaela Williams, 21-12, and the largest lead for LSU.
So impressed with how hard LSU has cut in the games that we've seen here so far.
Gordon the runner, short, Timpson on the offensive glass. First bucket for a non-Nia Latson player for the Seminoles, and it's in the form of an offensive rebound.
Florida State wants to keep that ball on the side. They down anything on the sidelines, force it to the baseline.
Smith too strong. Late whistle and a foul was called.
Well, LSU is really moving the ball well. And they lift that offense at times, and when they do, it's just a special play waiting to happen. You just circle off Mitchell from that elbow series up top and get a good cut. And the length of Smith as a passer at 6'2" over the outstretched arms is a key part of that play.
Williams picks up her first. Smith at the stripe, 66%. And one more coming. The sophomore from Texarkana.
Roy, remember, she was a freshman on that title team 2 years ago. And LSU sitting there as a 3 seed. They won the national championship coming out of as a 3 seed back in 2023. Very comfortable where they sit right now in this bracket.
22-14, 1 of 2 at the line. Latson over to Gordon. Corner triple. Big shot. A much-needed three-pointer makes it 22-17.
That can't happen if you're LSU on your home floor. You allow someone on the first side to be wide open from 3.
LSU shooting nearly 70% to start. Williams with a mid-range. Michaela Williams with 7. Latson, contact, and a blocking foul call. Day Wilson can't believe it. Anissa Morrow hit the floor.
Kim Mulkey might come out of her sequence off that call right there. I mean, she felt like Day Wilson's not in legal guarding position. I think that's the right call. And perhaps Anissa Morrow was there, though, what Kim was seeing. And there's the threat from behind to say, Coach, I got you, calm down. It's just... What a competitor.
Latson, how about the strength just to get the shot away and back to the free throw line for numeral 00.
I know Florida State's behind, but they have not flinched. There's no back down watching this game from the side from Brooke Wyckoff's kids. And Brooke Wyckoff was a heck of a player herself. Her jersey hangs in the rafters back at Tallahassee. Like I said on Saturday, some coaches come into a game like this hoping they can win. Other coaches believe they can. And I think that's what I see from Brooke Wyckoff in her shoot-around today and how she's handled her kids.
Latson with 13. Wyckoff's message to her team this morning, be relentless. And that included the 1 hour shoot around allotted by the NCAA. They got after it after she uttered that word relentless multiple times.
She didn't like the opening shooting drill that they went through and circled them up and said that better be the last unrelentless thing we do today.
Morrow relentless on the dribble drive. She's got 10. And Latson again forcing the issue. There comes the whistle and a foul. And Tanaya Latson back to the free throw line.
Latson puts fouls on your team as well as any guard in this tournament. And there's that hot ball pressure by Florida State that they have gotten to this year. But the loose ball gatherer that Morrow is, and a terrific straight line drive kid from that 4 spot. Such a tough cover.
Now Tanaya Latson wearing numeral 00. She's changed that number to that number playing AAU basketball when her head coach in Hawaii at the time said you play like an assassin, like James Bond. 007, 007 if you will. Said you should wear 00. And that's what she's done since.
Worked out pretty well, has it not? Has been the nation's leading scorer since November. 25 points a game coming in.
Williams, the layup line continues. Florida State giving up nearly 72% from the floor to start. Bowles for 3. Tracked down Amaya Bonner. Fresh 20, approaching a minute to play. Latson. Timpson on the offensive glass again and ripped away and out of bounds.
Roy, as aggressive as LSU is, you have to have really good gap discipline defensively if you're Florida State. And there's no one in that gap. That's just a hand help. It's not going to slow down that basketball at all. And you got a force like Williams driving it downhill.
Timpson contested, in and out. Explosive start for the home team. It's 72% from the floor. Williams, wide open.
She is the next superstar, I think, coming out of LSU. And Morrow and Flage get the headline, but she's right there with him. Leads this team in assists and third in scoring, almost 18 a game.
From the wing, the response by Williams. Jimmy, we've got 55 points on the board here in our first quarter.
Just what we expected. I mean, both clubs thrive. All gas, no brakes. One of the few times you'll see this ball slowed down to close out a quarter as Mitchell handles it up top. Mitchell, Williams.
Here comes Williams.
That's a charge.
And an offensive foul. That's a big turnover at the end of the quarter. That's her second personal as well, Jimmy.
Tie goes to the charge in the women's game. You got to be in legal guarding position before the contact, and that's how that call was seen by this officiating crew. Williams is so strong getting downhill. I'm in agreement with the call. That's a good job to slide over by Bowles.
Latson for 3, and she comes up short at the buzzer. 10 minutes in the books, 31-24, and the pace has been fast and furious. Michaela Williams in double figures already, the wide open triple. LSU shooting 74%. And the Hall of Famer Kim Mulkey, emotions running high with a chance to go back to the Sweet 16 here tonight in Baton Rouge. Here's a look at tonight's Fueling the Run, brought to you by Wendy's. And here comes Tanaya Latson.
Well, Tanaya Latson, we know, is the nation's leading scorer, and she does it multiple ways. And they are so good, Florida State, at moving her around, using her from different spots on the floor, even on those baseline out-of-bounds underplays, wired to score off of her defense. And like I said, she averages 20 field goal attempts per game. She's already gotten off 10 shots in this game. Kim Mulkey told us earlier today, Latson's going to get hers. We just can't let that third, fourth, and fifth scorer for Florida State have big games. And so far, look at the rest of the team. Just not much help at all for Latson in this one early.
Yeah, Williams had the 3. Gordon had a 3. A putback by Timpson. Outside of that, it has been all Tania Latson. Breather to start the second, and Gordon fouled on the dribble drive.
Florida State averages, Roy, 20 free throw attempts per game. Now LSU gets there as well at 22 times per game. But a big part for both clubs, how well can you defend without fouling in this second round matchup?
Flage now with 2. Gordon set to shoot 2. 84% at the line, the third leading scorer. The Seminoles this year, first team all ACC. I mean, really both sides, they've got the big 3 in terms of scoring, leadership, experience. I think that's another part of why this game has so much cachet. You see Williams and Flage on the bench for head coach Kim Mulkey. The lead down to 5. Miracle Shepherd on the floor. She scored in double figures in that first round win against San Diego State. And the bounce pass out of bounds from Poa.
Good ball pressure by Florida State because LSU is trying to overload one side and throw the high-low inside tomorrow, but too much ball pressure. And again, that's where Florida State is different this year than last year. They've improved defensive efficiency by about 35 points on the year.
Timpson, the great entry pass. She's got 4, and it's a 1-possession game.
Coming off of a double-double Saturday, 18 and 11. She is a walking double-double for Florida State.
Gilbert forces the issue, and her first field goal here in the NCAA tournament was 0 for 9 Saturday. Made 4 free throws and a 3 by Williams. That's her second of the ball game.
How about that? Just right in transition. Williams trailing that play. Just a 27% three-point shooter on the year. But sticks one right in that LSU transition defense. You see, throw that thing inside and utilize your length if you're Florida State as much as you can in this game.
LSU is led by as many as 10 points. Timpson in traffic, a lot of contact, no whistle. Shepherd fell down. Timpson did as well. Miracle Shepherd, the Mississippi State transfer. Last year, Poa outside. Smith on the offensive glass, and she traveled. Oh, don't forget, for the 5th straight year, every NCAA Women's Championship game is on the networks of ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com, your home for all 90 NCAA championships.
Well, there have been some great, not good, great individual performances in this tournament so far. I was watching yesterday, Serena Sundell, the 6-foot point guard from K-State, 19 and 14 in their win at Kentucky.
Aaron pass from Gordon. Gilbert short on the layup. Here comes FSU. Looking to tie or take the lead. Bowles from the corner. And Florida State grabs its first advantage of this ball game.
They, Florida State, are so disciplined at running shooters to the corner in the open floor, knowing exactly where they want to go with that ball.
Bowles did have a brief advantage in the first. Back on top now in the second. Morrow. And here comes Sydney Bowles.
And Florida State not getting punked on the glass. All 5 are involved in the fight.
Bowles in and out. That was a heat check. Poked away. Morrow corrals it. And Anissa Morrow in and out.
I love the fight by Florida State, but I also love the discipline they play with. As fast as they play, they know exactly what they want to do with that ball in conversion offense. Bowles is the primary weapon, Roy, to sprint to the corner and have feet set and eyes ready on the catch to let it fly. And that's a big part of Florida State's offense. They want layups, they want kick-out threes, and they want to get to that free throw line 20, 25 times a game.
One more coming for Morrow. Anissa Morrow, a fast start. 11 points, 4 rebounds, trending and tracking towards another double-double. 28 this season, more than 100 in her career after beginning that career at DePaul.
Tough Chicago kid. Her dad played linebacker for Nebraska in football. Her mom played hoops for Nebraska, so an athletic family brought up to be tough.
Latson with a crease. Timpson.
Yes,
Up and in, and a chance for 3.
Yes, ma'am. Man, the fight by FSU on the glass. And again, Brooke told her kids, do not concede on the glass today. And there's no box off. And that length and the explosiveness, really good job by Michaela Timpson. Averages 17 and 10. I said she's a walking double-double. And such a fighter. And that ball's on the glass.
FSU back in front. Timpson with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 4 on the offensive glass to start.
Well, I think she's got a chance to be a high draft pick. She's 6'2", has a great pursuit and quickness of that basketball. Made a game winner this year from the 15-foot mark against Miami. Just a lot of talent inside that jersey when I watch her play.
How about the back-and-forth nature of this game? The 6 versus the 3. Winner advancing to the Sweet 16 against NC State. And this has been as advertised with pace, points, tempo, and just the energy in this arena.
Roy, already 6 turnovers, though, for LSU. They come in averaging way too many for a team that wants to get all the way to the Final Four. They come in averaging 15 turnovers a game, and they're going to creep towards that number right now if they don't get control of it.
Morrow shows the range and the skill set on full display with 14.
I just don't think you can give her the 15-footer. Study the film, you know she's capable of knocking it down. Get up and put some pressure on her.
LSU back in front. Latson dribbles it out of bounds. How about the pressure by Shepard?
What's this last LSU who we know that she's a great, not good, a great rebounder, but that little foot fake, a little bit of separation, and the confidence to jump up and stick it from 15 feet. National Freshman of the Year at DePaul, like you mentioned, prior to transferring to LSU. She rebounded at 15 a game as a freshman. Like I said Saturday, if you'll bite as a pup, you'll bite as a dog, and that's what she is now.
Gilbert lost the handle on the way up. Latson surveys. Bowles with a hot hand. Not this time. Shepard, the crossover. Gilbert on Treadwell. Inside to Smith.
Yep. Roy, Florida State is going to down the ball on the side. They're going to force the ball baseline. Knowing that, you have to rotate over. You know where you're forcing the ball. But there's no defensive help that comes over to shut off Gilbert. And a good job by Smith to get right in front of the rim and expose her numbers. Samaya Smith finishes off the play, but Gilbert just fights, man. I mean, fights to get that pass off. A really good, tough 2 by LSU.
Samaya Smith with 9 points. DeSoto High School, Texarkana, Texas. Missed all but 7 games last season due to an ACL. And now that she's healthy, she admitted watching this team on the bench last year, the postseason, falling in the Elite 8. It was tough at times, and now back with a vengeance in 2025.
Man, look at LSU shooting 65% so far in this game. He's just up 4.
Gordon. Villegas on the floor, sharpshooter from distance. Listen to this crowd. Williams. Gilbert, no, and Florida State will stop for a moment. 5:15 to go in the half.
Roy, the importance, if you're Florida State, to keep LSU from fast break points. LSU this year, they are just 4-4 when they are held below 10 fast break points. They are 25-1 when they get 10 or more.
Baseline, Shepard. And Timpson hauls in the board.
Boy, a lot of length rotated quickly to that basketball, did it not?
Florida State has a way of creating matchup problems. So does LSU. Jada Richard lays it in.
That's those fast break points I'm talking about. Now, she had to go through contact and pretty good defense. But you do not, if you're Florida State, want to turn that thing over with live ball turnovers in this game.
Crowd back in it. Latson and a chance for three. That'll stop a 7-0 run for LSU. Lead is 4, and the NCAA. Ladies, what a start in Baton Rouge, and tonight Latson at the free throw line getting set. Have the chance to make it a one-possession game, and well, she found a way to get back to the line and a chance for three the hard way.
To be the nation's leading scorer, she's not a jet. She's strong, she's powerful, she's tough. She handles that ball low, and she gets fouled a ton. She has already put 6 fouls on LSU in this game. And we mentioned it on Saturday. She went to that free throw line 14 times. If you're LSU, you cannot one-on-one cover her. You've got to make her see multiple white jerseys behind that primary defender.
4 ties, 5 lead changes, 42-39, and a lot of basketball left to be played here in the second round of the NCAA tournament. State capital of Louisiana, we're calling Baton Rouge, and what an atmosphere,
yeah.
And here's a steal. KK Timpson, coast to coast.
Well, they are scoring off their defense, are they not, Florida State? I believe that's the 3rd time they've gotten out and ran down a loose ball created by their pressure. Just the exact type of game we thought we would have all weekend long. Looking forward to Monday.
Gilbert from the elbow. Kaylin Gilbert with 4, the transfer from Arizona. Big year in crunch time this season. Valenzuela on the floor for the first time in the first 2 games, and she's off the mark. Mariana Valenzuela, redshirt junior from Mexico, Montfort Academy. And this is the kind of game, Jimmy, you probably have to go a little deeper into your bench, given the pace.
Yeah, no doubt. And both coaches comfortable doing it.
Morrow to Gilbert. Picked up by Villegas. 1 on the timer. And Florida State tenacious on defense.
They have changed their defense from last year to this year. And Kim Mulkey's up against a Florida State team that's very aggressive. They want their defensive speed to match how they play offense with. And coach is frustrated. The number of turnovers for LSU continue to pile up, 8 already in this game.
Only 5 for the Seminoles. Timpson, 44-43. Timpson now in double figures.
I like her game a lot, and I love the fact that she loves to fish as much as I do. Big time into bass fishing, crappie fishing. We had a great conversation about it today after the shoot-around.
Shepard with a bounce. Willed that one in. Here comes Latson, 19 on the board. She averages 25 per game. Timpson, boy, the ball just died on the heel and dropped.
A high, flat ball screen set by Timpson. And as soon as her defender went towards the ball, just an easy throwback for the 15-footer.
Mid-range is there for Richard.
Are we playing with a legal ball and legal rim? Man, of this thing going in at a high clip.
LSU shooting 66%. KK Timpson with 10 points in this quarter alone. And finally, some help for Latson. She'll survey between the legs. Circus shot, and it drops.
That is special because I said put multiple jerseys for her to work through. Well, check that box. She can. She just went right at 3 LSU defenders for the finish.
Back to work for Morrow. Saves it. Step back. Soft rim. Didn't help that time, and Timpson grabs a rebound and then is tripped in the process by Shepard.
Boy, you have to secure that ball because LSU, they smother you if you come down with a defensive rebound. But the previous hoop by Latson right there, 1, 2, 3 different white jerseys cannot stop this kid. She doesn't see a yield sign or a stop sign when she's in that middle third. She sees a green go sign. So tough, Roy, in that middle third to keep out of the lane and away from the rim. Wired to score. It's a beautiful smile, a real joy how she plays the game of basketball.
Yeah, she was all business in our conversations this morning. And a little bit of a different aura compared to before that first round win against George Mason. And this is the stage, this is the spotlight Tania Latson's been waiting for, been dreaming about. Latson, yes!
She just such a soft touch. Does not get sped up, and great scores are like that. If you speed them up, they shoot a tough shot, but not her. That thing hits that rim soft.
What a beautiful game this has turned out to be. The pace, the offense, the athletes on display. Sensational. Richard, not this time, and Morrow hit the floor hard and was shoved down.
Yeah, we're on track for like a 101 to 100 finish. And I don't see any sign of either team backing away, not flinching in terms of the pace and how they want to play. It's been a physical game. It's been a well-officiated game, though, so far. Not over-officiated. Letting these athletes go at it. But there's one right there that you have to call. That's just a chuck out of the way by Michaela Timpson.
That's her first, and perhaps a message being delivered there in that battle in the post between Morrow and Timpson. Richard off the hezzy. Morrow on the offensive glass. Venezuela with the rejection, saved by LSU. Richard again.
Wow, such a tough kid, right, for a true freshman, but also won 4 state championships in the state of Louisiana. What a first half in the second round in Baton Rouge.
Latson for 3, short. Shot clock is off, 3 seconds remaining. Richard heaves it. (50-49). What a moment, what a half. LSU, the 1-point advantage here in Baton Rouge. Let's get you to the studio and the halftime report headed your way right now. And take a deep breath here. 50-49 to begin our third quarter. The 3-seed LSU leading the 6-seed Florida State. With the coach Jimmy Dykes, I'm Roy Philpott. What a first 2 quarters we just witnessed here in Baton Rouge.
Exactly what we thought it would be. Neither team wants to back off the gas at all. That's not who they are. They want to turn this thing into a track meet. Think about LSU. They have scored 50 points in this game. Only 2 from their leading scorer, Flau'jae Johnson, because of foul trouble, only played 7 minutes. So if you're Kim Mulkey, you feel good about your offense going forward in the second half. If you're Brooke Wyckoff, you've come into a very loud, hostile environment, 9 or 10,000, and held up really well.
Let's take a look at our first half highlights. And, of course, Tania Latson led the charge. 23 for the nation's leading scorer coming in.
Yeah, they've held up well because Tania Latson almost has her nation-leading average in the first half. She's just a bucket getter. And, again, she doesn't have elite speed, but she's strong, low, powerful, reads angles, and just relentless attacking the rim. Anissa Morrow with Flau'jae and Michaela Williams on the bench with foul trouble carried this LSU team in the first half. Had to make a couple of 15-footers, but right now she's tracking her own double-double on track. Anissa is for like a 28-10 game, but look at all the double-figure scores. 23, though, leads it with Latson.
That is our game track brought to you by Invesco. QQQ. Scoring in bunches, fast break opportunities, 3-pointers for both sides, and the stars shining brightly here in this second round matchup.
Roy, remember Florida State, they're 17-1 if they make 8 or more threes. They've already made 5 in the first half.
LSU, Samaya Smith in double figures. She's got 12. And the Tigers shooting 59% to begin our third quarter. Gordon off the spin from 15, off the left side. Jump stop by Day Wilson. Flau'jae only with 2, had those 2 early fouls. Jimmy, you talked about it. LSU still with the lead. Kayla Williams the step back. Latson a rebound.
Very impressed with Florida State's ability to rebound the basketball in this game.
Outside to Bowles, short on the triple. Tapped out back to LSU.
Florida State, Roy, they're being out-rebounded, but they're not just getting blitzed on the glass. They're hanging in there, 24-18. And you're trying to make up for that deficit with turnovers if you're Brooke Wyckoff. That has been their oxygen all year.
Jimmy, you comfortable with this pace for both sides? We know both teams like to score. Can they continue to handle that kind of foot traffic and what we witnessed in the first 2 quarters?
Absolutely. I don't see a sign of either team flinching. There's a foul right there, a reach in defensively by Sydney Bowles. But both teams want to get downhill and get downhill fast. And they got the athletes, Roy, to win their one-on-one battle. I don't see any sign at all of either coach wanting to back off the pace in this game.
Second personal on Bowles. And Michaela Williams at the strike. Didn't see her all hardly in that second quarter. Going back to Saturday.
Michaela Williams, we talked about it. She had scholarship offers for softball as a 7th grader. And talking to her before the game, she said, I was a catcher and a mid-infielder. And she said, no one ever stole base on me when I was the catcher. I mean, she's got a gun, right, for an arm?
We've seen it. Latson is short, as she showed it off yesterday at practice. Flage tried to split the double team. Gordon poked it outside to Day Wilson.
I'm not sure that's the shot that Kim Mulkey wants from her point guard. And a lot of time on that clock. Those point guards for LSU, they're not out there to score. They're out there to manage the game.
Bowles on Williams. Mid-range.
Yep.
Florida State on the board here in our third quarter. Sydney Bowles with 5 points. Inside to Morrow.
Boy, there have been a lot of one-pass, first side of the floor buckets in this game. And neither team right now defensively showing a lot of teeth and a lot of grit.
Latson contested. Here's Smith. Flage's only attempted 3 shots tonight. Make it 4. And how about that finish?
Yes, ma'am, again. Big fan of Flage Johnson in the open floor. About 39% of her points on the year have come in transition. Just an absolute force coming downhill at you. And to come out at halftime, LSU jumps out with a 7-point lead. It's all behind the all-SEC play of number 4 in white. There's not a better open floor player in the SEC, maybe in this tournament, than Flage Johnson.
The NCAA Women's Championship presented by Capital One is brought to you by Nissan. Power forward. Back in Baton Rouge, high-level hoops, Florida State, LSU, emotions running high. 2 great teams, engaging personalities, and fantastic basketball with the coach Jimmy Dykes, Roy Philpott here courtside. And boy, what a couple of days it has been. First 2 rounds of the big dance, and Flage Johnson was 3 the hard way moments ago. Early foul troubles tonight after 22 in the season, rather in the first round win over San Diego State. The lead is back to 8. Knowles only 2 points in the second half, make it 4, and there's Latson.
Unbelievable control of her body has Latson. I mean, she can get hit and be off balance and still just have the resiliency to keep her eyes locked in around that rim. Yeah, it's hard to guard.
Day Wilson outside of Flage. The Hezzy, the layup.
So she. Flage Johnson, if you know, she's a rapper with 2 albums on the label Rock Nation. Does a little bit of everything. Donated money to 4 single moms over the holidays because she was raised by a single mom. Just a beautiful spirit inside that 4 white jersey.
Latson on the cut and stolen away by Morrow.
Good
Ahead to
pass.
Smith. Williams is wide open.
Bam!
That's a 3. Gordon, the silencer.
You've got to stay aggressive if you're Florida State in this game and try to match LSU as hot as they are offensively.
Jimmy, that 11-point advantage was the largest of the game for either side. Bucket by Gordon. Knowles in search of a stop. Home crowd re-engaged, and there's a turnover.
Really good fight, right, by Omaria Gordon, I mean, she was caught in a mismatch down low and just fought her backside off to get that deflection. What presence, though, that time by Samaya Smith to run the floor down the middle as a post kid, knowing as soon as this thing touches my paws, I'm firing to that ball side corner. Ball movement really good by LSU in this game.
And that extra pass in Williams with 17. Bowles, a turnover. Smith off the bounce. And you feel like Florida State's in that danger zone.
Yeah. You feel it, and more importantly, Brooke Wyckoff feels it as well, the head coach for Florida State.
Flau'jae Johnson talking with her head coach, signals in the play, and here's Williams. Off the right side, out of bounds. We'll stay with the Tigers. And a breather for Latson. She remains on the bench for the moment.
Yeah, so where does the offense come from? I mean, those are just valuable minutes for LSU right now to continue to increase this lead with Latson on the bench. Can they take advantage of it?
LSU outscoring FSU 14-6 here in the third. The dump off.
Roy, the 19th assist in this game for Kim Mulkey's kids. I talked about the beautiful ball movement. Man, that was it right there.
Now it's Gordon. Here comes LSU, and look out, Flau'jae Johnson behind the back. The spin outside to Anissa Morrow. Attacking. Timpson off the lob, no.
That was a great pass, one that Timpson should have finished.
.435 to go in the third. Morrow for three.
Whoop.
Flau'jae Johnson, foul.
Man, LSU, I talked about their team speed, just jumped out at me on Saturday. All five kids can just flood that floor, man, with speed and force. And they don't waste time passing that basketball. That's a great, not good, a great job in transition to find the big and the kick-out spray three. And then the pass right here from Flau'jae. Very well done. That 19th assist in this game. Spectacular ball movement by the Tigers.
In basketball, not lost on the great Flau'jae Johnson. The quote there, music in the hoops, I just try to play with more rhythm. And since she's kind of combined the two, Jimmy, off the court, she's felt like a better athlete. She's dropped 2 albums. You mentioned the 2 albums with Jay-Z's Rock Nation.
Well, she's a special young lady. She's not stingy at all with her blessing. And she has used some of her money to help support single moms because she was raised by a single mom. But how cool was it today during the shoot-around when Kim said, hey, free shooting for the last 10 minutes, and her song was blaring over the loudspeakers. Like, how many people get to do that? You know what I'm saying?
A special athlete, a special person in talent. All the NIL deals, 9 points tonight after the 2 early fouls. And for Florida State, you don't want to say it's now or never, but a slow start here in the third quarter. And Latson, the high dribble, thought she was fouled. Largest lead for LSU, playing in front of this raucous crowd. Williams, silky smooth on the spin and the finish.
I think that young lady's got a chance to be the SEC Player of the Year someday. I mean, she's 6 feet, she's powerful, can score from so many ways. And what a great job by Day Wilson as that point guard to pressure and bother and force the turnover with a push-off. And this thing's starting to get away from Florida State. This LSU PMAC is hot right now, almost at capacity. And that's the ability of Williams right there to get her own, create her own, and just the run through right there. Just a smart play. Not a smart play by Latson at all to pick one up.
Tonight, Latson 25 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Also, the turnovers starting to mount up. Got 5 in the game. Smith down low.
Smith has been an absolute blessing for Kim Mulkey in this game. Doesn't always score at a high clip, but already with a double-double, right? Or flirt with one in this one.
Turnage back to Latson.
Smith has a double-double, 14 and 10.
A steal by Flage. 1-on-2 the other way. Florida State hanging on. Latson open. High arcing triple, no. Timpson on the offensive glass. Latson corrals it. One more chance. 3 opportunities and an empty possession for FSU.
If they score here, this building is going to be tested in terms of how strong the roof is, because they are waiting to explode.
Inside to Morrow. Morrow with 20. Largest lead at 19.
It has been all gas and no brakes for LSU. Nothing in this game pointed to the team in white backing off at all from the pace they want to play. And they are bringing the smoke right now to a really good Florida State team.
Another turnover, Jimmy.
In the ACC, as good as that league is, it doesn't overall have the size and the athleticism that they're up against today.
Noles have turned it over 6 times in this quarter.
Yeah.
It's been all LSU since halftime in the midst of a 10-0 run. Williams, the pump fake. Foul on the delivery. And all smiles for LSU stars tonight.
Florida State continues to try to keep the ball on the side, but I mean, Williams just shook that pressure off and got to the elbow pull-up jump shot. And Brooke Wyckoff, I mean, that head's starting to spin right now. How do I slow this thing down? How can I change the game? I'm on the road. The road has been very good to the top 4 seeds so far in this women's tournament. Only 3 losses prior to this game starting for those teams that are allowed or being rewarded by playing on their home floor. And LSU taking advantage of it in the second half, big time.
And you see Maryland in overtime. A 2-point advantage over Alabama up in College Park. Only 8 seconds to go. Over on ESPN2.
I believe if that score holds up, it would be 29-3 for those teams playing on their home court in this tournament.
The block by Johnson. She'll head the other direction. Bump by Latson. And a foul called. Third personal on Tanaya Latson. And that time it was Flage Johnson that drew the foul. And those two, they played against each other in high school. We talked with Tanaya about it earlier today, and she said, yeah, we've kept in touch since then via Instagram. They respect each other's game. There's no close friendship, and certainly that's not on display tonight, but fierce competitors going back to their time at American Heritage and Sprayberry High School.
Boy, LSU's 29-5 on the season. They had lost 3 or 4 coming in. Flage was banged up and missed 3 of them, but they scored 103 versus San Diego State on Saturday. They're tracking to go over 100 again in this game. That's how good they're clicking right now to start this women's NCAA championship.
Bowles off the mark. Samaya Smith clears. 14-0 run here near the end of the third, and Florida State only 6 points so far in our second half.
LSU wins this game. Kim Mulkey's going to be line dancing at every shoot around going forward.
They're going to bring back Cupid and the Cupid Shuffle. And the flex, which is what we saw earlier this morning. We'll stay on this end in Florida State. Perhaps one more possession here at the end of the third.
And what a knockout punch, though. Look at that in this quarter. 28-6 by the home team. And it's been everyone. It hasn't been a one-man band. It's been a lot of kids in double figures for LSU in this game. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them right now. Morrow and Williams lead the way with 21 and 20.
Latson off the mark. Shot clock will reset. It'll stay with FSU.
A little concerning right now.
And Morrow taking her time. Remains on the floor. We had that injury scare with Juju Watkins earlier in the weekend, and Morrow quickly with assistance up on her feet.
Just a lot of bodies and elbows, and an inadvertent one right there from Michaela Timpson right across the bridge of the nose, the eye area to Anissa Morrow.
How much fun did we have talking to her 2 days ago about the art of rebounding, her career, which began at DePaul, now here in the SEC against LSU, or with LSU, and just hearing about the study and the work that goes in to being the leading rebounder in America.
She's a great communicator, first of all, and we started talking to her about rebounding. She talked about waking up every day with just a will, an absolute will when the ball's on the glass, and you see what she's done right there. Anytime you've done something similar to Courtney Parrish back in Oklahoma, you're a special young lady and a talent, and that's what she is. And she studies film. She knows the tendencies of her own team, when they're going to shoot, when they're not. She's the first to the glass. She doesn't wait for the ball to be released. She gets to that glass on the rise of the shooter, which all great rebounders understand.
Williams, why not?
Kim Mulkey's having a party over there on that sidelines. Kim Mulkey knows she got a team that could win this thing. They're coming out of that as a 3 seed, but when those big three are clicking, they can beat anyone.
Michaela Williams, a sophomore right here in Louisiana, began her career at Texas, 24 points.
Man.
And Florida State ends the third quarter, 6.5 minutes without a point.
You talk about total domination over a really good Florida State team. And that's what LSU did in that third quarter, to put this thing away from what it looks like. It was on both ends of the floor. Their offense was clicking, and defensively, they came to life. Roy, you can get hot on the defensive end just like you can the offensive end. LSU did it in that third quarter.
Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance that third quarter. LSU outscoring FSU 31-6.
Well, they were the aggressor in a very aggressive game. They took their aggressiveness to a whole nother level. The ball continues to move, and they are feeding off of their offense and turning their defense up. And Kim Mulkey absolutely loves what she's seen from her young ladies, especially in that third quarter. And now they're 10 minutes away from advancing to the Sweet 16, and NC State sits there and waits.
Flage and Michaela combined for 21 points, fueling that run in the third. And Latson, well short. Tonight, Latson 23 in the first 2 quarters, just 2 in the third. And LSU has been a different team, and the rest of the country take notice. This team at full strength. A healthy Flage Johnson, who declared she was back Saturday night in that win against San Diego State, and Anissa Morrow's mid-foot sprain now healthy as well. That time off after the SEC tournament has meant a lot to this program, Jimmy.
Well, you look at the banners up there that the women's programs have won here and all their trips to the Final Four. This is the first time in LSU history that they have 3 first-team All-SEC players, Johnson, Morrow, and Williams. That tells you the talent that Kim Mulkey has to work with right now in this tournament.
Another block for Johnson.
She is so good for the game, Kim Mulkey. I mean, she embraces those that aren't supportive of who she is and embraces those that love her. And I put me on that side of it, because she has been so good for this sport for a long, long time. Just the model of consistency in terms of 20 times or 20 wins every single year as a head coach.
Didn't miss a beat, not any one season. Think about that for a second.
She didn't miss a beat as a player either. As a player, 30-plus wins all 4 years and 2 national titles at Louisiana Tech. And this is what she is and who she is. Has not lost one drop of competitive fight from the time she was a player to where she is now.
It was an exciting weekend for her as well. Her best friend, Jan Crawford, a CBS News correspondent. Her daughter played at Georgia Mason, so they got to spend some time together before These first two rounds got underway, and LSU's second half domination continues. And Smith, you mentioned the double-double. That's 16 points, 12 boards. She's got 5 assists tonight too, Jimmy.
And appreciate the pass by Day Wilson. And that's exactly what Kim Mulkey needs out of that 2-quarterback system. Just manage the game and make the right pass and trust those SEC players and All-Americans around you. And that's been the marching orders for Cheyenne, Day Wilson, and last year Poa. And they hold up at that point guard spot as they advance in this tournament. The competition gets stiffer.
Yeah, those were her words, not ours. A 2-quarterback system running the points. Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship continues on CBS, TBS, and True TV. For more information on tournament game times and networks, go to ncaa.com.
Man, we're in SEC territory. How about the SEC on the men's side? 7 teams to the Sweet 16. This could be the year that the SEC wins it in both the men's and the women's national championship. Multiple teams capable on both sides of doing it.
Yeah, you think about Texas, South Carolina on the women's side. They're high seeds. This LSU team, the last time they won it, Jimmy, 2 years ago, they were a 3 seed. So they're very comfortable in this spot.
Watching Vic Schaefer's team the day before he came over, just defensively. Man, it's hard to get 50 against those Longhorns right now, what Vic Schaefer's got rolling in Austin, Texas.
Now you think about Madison Booker, the SEC Player of the Year. Horns have been dominant in their wins against William & Mary in the first round, and in Illinois earlier today over at Moody Center. 85-57, 90 seconds into our fourth quarter. Folks, this was a 1-point game at halftime, and then LSU happened in the third.
Yeah, Florida State has scored, you do the math, 8 points in this second half. Is that right?
Plage racing for the rebound is Day Wilson. Back and forth.
That is big time. I'm telling you, it all started with Cheyenne Day Wilson moving that basketball, having great vision. Boy, Kim Mulkey get exactly what she wants from that point guard spot so far from Day Wilson.
And it's managing the game. She scored 11 points against San Diego State. That was the first time at LSU since she transferred in from Miami that she reached double figures, but it was the lack of turnovers and all the assists managing the game. And Michaela Williams, what a performance, 28 on the board.
LSU just goes to a horn set, and Williams just breaks right off the passer at that horn set for an easy one.
Well, you wondered about the track meet and the pace. Can both of these teams keep up what we witnessed in the first quarters, first half? And it was all LSU since the break, and a timeout called.
If you didn't think that LSU was a legitimate chance to cut down the nets in Tampa, you are wrong. This team is clicking at the right time. We know about the big three, but look at Day Wilson move that ball with great vision. The interior passing has been there the entire evening for LSU. And Kim Mulkey, bam, blue sequence top and all. Awfully proud of how her young ladies are handling this second round matchup. 7:05 away from advancing to a Sweet 16.
The NCAA Women's Championship is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallets? Back here in Baton Rouge, Michaela Williams, 10 of 12 from the floor, 28 points. And, she didn't really play in the second quarter tonight. At 12 in the first quarter, 12 more in the third, and she has taken this game over. And Samaya Smith, another double-double. And, all the players playing their respective roles tonight, Jimmy, to perfection.
When the awareness of Williams to know where that camera was, I have fallen in love with this LSU team. Not in terms of how good they are, but how much joy they have. And just the energy and the effort that they bring, even in the shoot-arounds. This is a lively squad, which is exactly what you want, Roy, if you're a coach right now. Does your team have life and joy about them and how they play? And this LSU team has been it since we've been in Baton Rouge.
And those passing lanes, the angles, the finishes. You mentioned earlier, 26 assists. In and out, and back down it goes for Smith. She's got 20 points, a new season high for her. And just the way they share the basketball. Joy's a great word. Latson the step back three and splashes that one in. She's got 30.
Just watch the LSU bench. Every basket is met with dancing and high-fiving, and just this team is as together as I've seen in the women's tournament over the last couple of days.
Morrow.
Kim Mulkey goes to that 2 or 3 times a half, just overload one side, and all the action is doing is allowing Morrow to seal and get an easy one at the bucket.
Valenzuela, no. And Williams fouled on the way up. Malaya Williams. 2 early threes tonight. Help set that pace and tone for FSU early. She's going to shoot a pair of free throws here.
Now, Florida State is 17-1 on the year when they make 8 or more threes, and they've been held to 6 in this game. That's a testament to LSU's defense to get out and pressure that basketball, making life heck on Brooke Wyckoff's offense.
Well, you know, NC State and head coach Wes Moore watching this game tonight. And Sanaya Rivers, Zaya James, all the talent they've assembled there and run to the Final Four a year ago, trying to make it back. And LSU and NC State played in November, so a rematch of sorts headed to Spokane, Washington on Friday night. And there's going to be some outstanding athletes on display in that game. And a battle of wills between the SEC and the ACC again. And speaking of again, it's Morrow with 22 and 9.
You don't lead the nation if you don't have great hands. And Morrow, I'm just telling you, you go back and watch film, you watch her live, you watch her in practice, she does not fumble the ball, ever. Look at that snatch right there, just winning, got it, man.
And that's another double-double, Jimmy, 24 and 10. And Morrow with 7 dimes tonight as well, so flirting with a triple-double. Those 7 assists, a new career high.
Where she leads the nation in rebounding, and she is maybe 6'1". She ain't over 6'1". She's maybe 6'1" on a good day. But that will and the heart and the huge Valentine that young lady plays with, any coach in the country could clip film and show their kids, this is how you rebound if you want to win, and that's Morrow.
The steal by Shepard. Everything working for LSU in this second half in Baton Rouge. And off the fingertips of Shepard, out of bounds. Tigers already with 99 on the board. They're going to get to 100. That'll be the 3rd time in 4 games here at the end of the year in postseason play. Going to top the century mark. Wolfenbarger checks back in. Listen to this crowd for Anissa Morrow.
That is a special young lady, just the 2nd player in NCAA history with 100 double-doubles. We talked about it time with Courtney Parrish from Oklahoma, the great Courtney Parrish, by the way, back in the day.
And think about that, 100 double-doubles in college.
And she ain't done.
Saved by Gilbert, over to Gordon. The stop and pop off the mark. It'll stay with FSU.
Florida State has had a heck of a year. 24 wins coming in, 12-5 out of the ACC. The 12th straight NCAA tournament for the Seminoles, but it's going to come to a screeching halt in Baton Rouge in the 2nd round.
Well, FSU looked the part in that win over George Mason on Saturday.
Yeah, and the first half of this game.
Really did.
Stop the action.
Timpson remains on the floor after the 3 by Bowles. Brooke Wyckoff out. We'll take a look at that sequence.
Yeah, her foot slid out from under her a little bit. And looked like maybe put that knee in an awkward bind as they help her off. 101 blocks on the year, averages a double-double. The only player in the country this year, Roy, to have 3 games of 8 blocks or more. That's how good that Michaela Timpson has been for the Seminoles this year.
And that 101 blocks, a single season record in Tallahassee. Now sitting on the bench after walking off after the fall. 3.5 to go.
Looking at Michaela sitting over there. She talked about grew up with her grandfather in Edison, Georgia, taking her to river, ponds, lakes, fell in love with fishing.
You are quite the fisherman, I'm coming to understand.
I am. I love people that have fished in ponds and lakes growing up. That's right in my wheelhouse.
There's a certain peace that comes with that. Tay Wilson.
You know what else I love is the ability of this kid to get on the glass at 6'1". Just the will to continue to fight, and she has such a long extension. And at times, Roy, she'll get it with one hand, but she always finishes it off with two. She'll go make the initial contact on the ball with one paw, but she gets two hands on it, and she owns it. She does not fumble it, and once she has it, you're not taking it away. A little bit of ice to that right eye. Those are battle scars right there. And she earns it. A walking double-double, her 103rd of her career for Anissa Morrow.
Well, the sights, the sounds of March, and the bruises as well for a player that has been incredible in her LSU career.
She grew up in Chicago, Morrow did, as a point guard, and has kept that skill about her. But she told us in junior high she realized I can be a special rebounder.
And she wants your job, by the way. She wants to be a broadcaster. We've been down here on the football side, and she shadowed Taylor McGregor, one of the great sideline reporters we have here at ESPN, and enjoyed every moment of it. And listen to this crowd for Samaya Smith.
Kim Mulkey very appreciative, though, that point guard slot today. As last year Poa comes out, a senior point guard as well. A lot of young ladies have put on that LSU jersey for the last time here in the PMAC, and they have made the most of it already with 101 on the board for the home team.
Richard off the front of the rim. LSU over the century mark. Third time in 4 games that has happened.
It was a 1-point game at half if you're just now turning it on. 50-49. That first half was as good as you're going to see. And LSU said, we're going to keep the gas pedal down and continue down the tracks. And Florida State just not enough to keep up with.
It'll be LSU and NC State Friday night in Spokane. Shepard and Bowles hauls it in near the baseline.
Isaiah James for NC State, 26 in a win today against Michigan State earlier. It's an LSU team that beat NC State back in November, 82-65. And teams change and grow and get better. Both of them have, but we're looking at an LSU-NC State match in the Sweet 16.
And we said buckle up for this game tonight in Baton Rouge and over in Spokane later this week. Deep in the night on Friday evening. Same theory applies. And swatted out of bounds. Stay with the Tigers, 101-68.
I'm sorry, partner. LSU with 29 assists in this ball game. That's a season high. Now talk about you want to be hot, healthy, and hungry at the right time. And that's exactly what LSU is right now.
Del Rosario just checked in, and Treadwell a block. Del Rosario gets it back. Richard. Well, the 29 dimes, you've had to establish a couple of career highs. We mentioned 7 for Morrow, and Samaya Smith with 6 assists as well. It's a new career high for her. Didn't miss a shot. 12 rebounds. Villegas, no.
Roy, if we play our cards right, we might get to go line dancing with Kim Mulkey tonight. You know, I just feel like she might be in that kind of mood after that shoot around this morning and got out there to the sounds of Cupid with her team and feels really good about where her club is. We could just sense it talking to her on Friday.
Bartlett checks out, the senior from Cleveland, Texas. One more moment in Baton Rouge. Number 2. Boy, it'll be a quick turnaround, too. They're going to head up to Spokane tomorrow to get ready for the Wolfpack.
I love about this tournament, man, the emotions, the joy and jubilation of LSU on one side, and the disappointment that Florida State's sitting there with right now. What a fantastic special year from Latson and company. That is too much, though, by LSU out of the SEC for Florida State to keep up with in this one.
Valenzuela with the triple makes it 101-71. Ayane Dos Santos also on the floor for the first time in this second round game.
Boy, this women's tournament, it's as open, I think, as we've had in a long, long time. It's no longer just about the 1 and 2 seeds, although it historically tells us that's where the champion comes from. But LSU sitting there as a 3 seed, very dangerous for anyone now that they're healthy. And what a dominant second half by LSU, 51-22.
It was 50-49 at halftime. And then LSU was cleared for takeoff in that third quarter. And that has been the difference tonight with Morrow's near triple-double. A career afternoon and evening for Samaya Smith. And even with 2 early fouls to Flau'jae Johnson, she found a way to impact this game in the third quarter with the energy, the enthusiasm, and a couple of buckets.
Well, if you're looking at LSU as a scout right now thinking we may have to match up with them, you got your hands full, because you got 3 kids that are all SEC for the first time ever in this historic program. So elite talents from 3, but then kids that just know their role and play to their role to perfection.
And a stoppage there, taking a look at shot clock.
We're on the season, LSU, they're only giving up 65 points a game. We talk about what they do offensively, but those athletes, man, they get a lot of deflections, a lot of runouts, and just create a lot of problems on both ends of the floor.
Jada Richard swatted out by Treadwell as the shot clock expired. That'll give it back to FSU for 1 more possession.
Kim's up 30 and arguing that there should have been 1 second left on the shot clock.
She's locked in. Her team has been locked in. Nearly a turnover on the inbounds. Valenzuela thinking about it. And that's going to do it. A second half for the ages. And Kim Mulkey back to the Sweet 16. The LSU Tigers headed to Spokane.
Just a dominant second half performance by LSU. Really the first half as well. Florida State was able to hang for the first 20 minutes, but not so much in the second half. Advanced to their 3rd straight Sweet 16. And just a reminder, they won the national championship 2 years ago as a 3 seed, and they've got the looks of a team that can do it again.
Every bit of that and then some. Let's check out how LSU is moving on. Brought to you by United Airlines. And the dancing started early this morning with the flex, with Cupid in the house and participating with the Hall of Famer Kim Mulkey and her team.
Yeah, Coach Mulkey hanging with the best of them. And what you want to do is dance in March. And LSU is going to continue to dance as they advance to the Sweet 16 against NC State. And the lady in the blue sequence dancing early this morning and continues to dance right now. Big time win for LSU.
101-6.